Georgia. Our fourth story is Household Management by Nimue Brown. Nimue describes herself as a Stroud-based life form who writes fiction and non-fiction. She has read Stroud short stories before and edited the first Stroud short stories anthology. Much of Nimue's work revolves around the Hopeless Maine project, graphic novels, performances, novellas and more, all set on a haunted island. Tonight's story comes from that setting, so please welcome to read Household Management, Nimue Brown.
Household management. It is impossible to maintain standards without hired help, I have found. But so often they cause more trouble than they alleviate. Will they steal the spoons? Are their hands and minds clean enough? Are they discreet? Of course, the answer to that final question is no. They are never discreet enough. They see into the most intimate details of your life, and that eventually becomes intolerable to you or to them. Hiring new help is considerably harder when everyone knows there are issues around your previous servants. Now that I have a reputation for my hired help disappearing inexplicably, I am not a tempting employer. They were, to be clear, truly inexplicable disappearances. I cannot explain them. I am guilty of nothing whatsoever where my servants are concerned. At the same time, I am not wholly innocent in these matters either. It is difficult. In such a small town, people talk and speculate, and you overhear them in the market saying things like, "Something is very wrong with her." And then they look away as you approach. And you know they were talking about you. And that if you let the rage boiling up in your guts make it all the way to your face or your hands, everything will be much worse. So you smile at them and pretend you don't know why they won't make eye contact. And you know why they do not encourage their daughters to enter your household. I cannot manage alone. It is simply too much work. And I am not accustomed to doing without help. And so I must bear the comments and the anxieties. My newly employed servant is called Corinne, and she is from away, which means she has no idea about my reputation. She has no family in this town. I believe she speaks French, but I do not. So communication between us is largely in gestures. I speak slowly and carefully to her, and she stares blankly back at me. But mostly she does the work that needs doing. She has a dull, incurious, accepting nature, which I greatly appreciate. I hope she has no one she can gossip with. I prefer my private life not to be open to discussion, but this is the cost of hiring someone all too often. I do not believe it is widely known at present that there is a dead man in my cellar. He has been there for some time now, and this has not improved his appearance. If I had dealt with his body at the time, it might all have been very easy. There would have been talk, but perhaps nothing worse. An unexplained death is not so very unusual a thing after all, and less so in a person no one much cared for. I regret both my fear and my attachment. No one has since spoken to me of his absence, not that anyone speaks to me of anything much. I am the only person in all of the world who feels that absence at all. His continued presence, albeit silent, still and unsavoury, has been a sort of comfort to me. It's reassuring to know exactly where he is, sprawled backwards, across the tea chests, in the cellar. The one hand he held up to protect himself has long since slumped down across his chest. He is in truth far more charming in death than ever he was in life. I have forbidden Corinne from visiting the cellar. I have pointed at the stairs and shook my head and said the word slowly, and I am hopeful that she understands. Her lack of interest in almost everything may be the saving of us both. Her predecessor, Matilda, was a much more lively and attentive creature. A good quality in one who is dusting your porcelain. Less helpful around questions of deceased husbands who have been improperly disposed of. I caught her eyeing up the cellar door more times than I can count. Perhaps she thought I had some kind of treasure in there. My late husband would have liked Matilda. He did always have an eye for the young ladies, and although none of them ever showed much interest in him, I was not so very jealous of that while he lived, but now that he is dead, it troubles me a good deal more. Our first servant, Violet, was exceedingly pretty and knew it. He was still alive when she went missing. No one made a great deal of fuss when Violet ran off, because she'd always seemed like the sort of girl who would, eventually. The kind of girl who gets herself into trouble, where the names of the men who are the trouble are only mentioned in whispers behind the hands of women who will never admit to knowing such things. It's not that I deliberately eavesdrop, I just have very good hearing. He was not blamed for her vanishing act. I do not know if he should have been. I long made it my business not to know anything at all about what he did behind my back. When a person who is not much liked disappears, no one grieves or asks many questions. Violet and my late husband had that much in common, and perhaps more. Matilda, on the other hand, was popular, and her sizable family permeates the town. Her absence is neither forgotten nor forgiven. Her absence casts Violet's disappearance in a new light, and people talk, but they do not talk to me. I'm not sure what happened to Matilda, only that the cellar door had been left open on the day that she vanished. I have never tried to clear in there. If there is a way to tell between recent dried blood and old dried blood, I do not know of it. Perhaps she could not stand what she saw when she finally got in there. But where would she go after leaving? Why not denounce me? Perhaps she really did run away to some distant farm or hamlet, never letting her family know what had become of her. It seems unlikely, but it is preferable to other explanations. I do not want her to be dead. I do not want to think that what remains of my husband still has power to do harm. I do not want to think he ever had the power to do harm. I keep telling myself that what happened to Violet is a mystery to me, and anyway could not be connected to what happened to Matilda. I tell myself nothing will happen to Corinne. On a good day, I entirely persuade myself that all of these things are true. I wear the key to the cellar on a ribbon around my neck now. It weighs heavy, but it reassures me to feel it there and to know where it is. This way I cannot uneasily unlock the cellar while sleepwalking. I do not know that I have done this, but I fear it may have happened. I am afraid I will unlock the door and not know that I have done so. I fear it will somehow be my fault if Corinne ignores my instructions and visits the cellar. I am afraid that somehow he isn't entirely dead down there, and that despite my best efforts, his not deadness is also my fault. He exerts a fascination even in death, even through the locked cellar door. I feel that pull every day. Will she feel it? Will she resist him? Will I?